Hello. Adam here, and today we are going to go through again another one of these F1 because, as we all know, the peak of motorsport went to Qatar this week, and next week will be the decider. So let's just see who took the win and if Lando Norris won the championship already. But first we have sprints because there is last sprint weekend. And practice, there was only one, dominated by both McLarens, which was Piastri, and Norris was in second. Then was Alonso in third, Carlos in fourth, then Hajar in fifth, and sadly, Hamilton was in 12th, beaten by Stroll. Russell was even worse than Hamilton, who was 14th, but this is only practice, we don't know how fast they will be. So now let's see if there will be something in sprint qualifying. Now let's see. Well, this track is, well, it's not slow, it's actually kind of fast. The problem is, if you fuck up something, you will be in trouble. And this track was always having these issues. So you needed to drive kind of nicely, always, to keep out of problems. The problem there was that there were a lot, and the teams are kind of close to each other. Well, not one that Alpine is, because both Alpines were eliminated. Same as Stroll and Lawson. Do you wanna guess who was the last one? You will never guess it because it was Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. Sadly, the car was feeling not good for him, surprisingly. Then, in the qualifying sprint 2, which is the Q2, obviously, SQ2, the eliminations were Ocon, both Saubers, Oli, and Albon. Oh wait, no, it wasn't. My apologies, because Isaac's time was deleted. So Albon proceeded to SQ3, and SQ3 was won by Pastry, Russell, Norris, Alonso in fourth, and then surprisingly, you haven't heard the name Yuki Tsunoda. Well, that's because he finished fifth ahead of Max Verstappen. Yes, it is happening. Yuki is locking full in. Red Bull is locking as well for Yuki, and Yuki is finishing fifth, which is awesome. So now let's see how the sprint, and obviously Charles was ninth because Ferrari hasn't done a good tires for him. Now let's move into sprint, shall we? Why is there a... So this track is not that much interesting. Only thing which was interesting was the start, and that was mostly it. Oscar was winning, and Russell was second. Lando third, Verstappen fourth, Yuki fifth. Sadly, Fernando plummeted to seventh. Still 2 points, which I am happy. And Carlos Sainz took one final point as well, which is awesome. Charles plummeting to P13 because he went wide in turn 1. And Lewis Hamilton finishing 17th, sadly. But before we're gonna move on to qualifying, there is some news regarding Aston Martin, my favorite team, because of Alonso, obviously. As we know, the not Lawrence Stroll, the team leader, I don't know what is his name, but he is leaving, or he's being sacked. I don't know what it is, but someone was speculating who will be the next one. Well, there were good candidates. Even Horner himself was a good candidate, but the one that won then was Adrian Newey. And I sure as fucking hope he will design a car as well, because they will need it. They will definitely need it. So we will have Newey as a team leader and then designer. But now, let's move to qualifying for the main race. Well, the first top 5 that was eliminated was Colapinto, Stroll, Hamilton. Again, why? They just fallen off a cliff, Ferrari, not Hamilton. Ocon and Snowdown. Sadly, Yuki is again eliminated in Q3. Q2 saw the elimination of Albon, Bortoleto, Berman, Lawson, and Nico Hülkenberg, which is kinda sad. Again. Because I wanna see Hulk scoring some points. Q3 ended with Charles Leclerc being 10th, Pierre Gasly being 9th, and again it was because his tires were absolutely shot. I mean Charles' tires were shot. And also Alonso, Sainz, Hedger, Antonelli, Russell, Verstappen, Norris, and Piastri. So the thing was here that the Piastri now might have the best opportunity to win the race because he now has a pole position. So now let's see the race, shall we? There is one problem for me. I sadly tuned when there was a lap 3, which saw Russell, for whatever reason, plummeting from P4 to P7. Alonso holding the train there, and McLaren's being 1-2 again and going away from Max Piastri. Nice. Max Verstappen. But everything changed when in lap 17, 12, I don't know when, Nico Hülkenberg and Pierre Gasly collided because Nico was trying to overtake Pierre, but the track is not good for this, I guess. So he was immediately taken down. That brought a safety car, which obviously everyone should have used for pits because there is one rule: 25 laps is the most laps you can do on one set of tires. I don't know if it means as well as hards, because if it is, then that's bullshit. But I don't think it was because... No, I don't think it was hards that long. So, everyone went to pits, right? Oh, my apologies, I'm getting an information that both of McLarens haven't gone to the pits. Because again, papaya rules. So, and Ocon wasn't going into pits, but obviously there was trouble in the pits. But the one that were taking it a lot was Antonelli and Sainz, that were actually very, very nice in big position. As well as Hedger, though. And Alonso was still in P5 or 6. Now, there was a trouble for McLaren because they needed to have a 26-second lead over the Alonso train, which he was leading. Will they done it? Well, both of them did. Both of them plummeted behind Max Verstappen, and I think both of them plummeted even behind Antonelli and Sainz. Yes, both of them plummeted behind Antonelli and Sainz, which obviously Oscar then made a quick work from Antonelli. Sainz then pitted, and again there was and Verstappen obviously as well for hards. And then Verstappen was trying to lap quickly because hards were not, if you don't know, hards are the hardest tire compound, and it's pretty difficult to set very good competitive lap times. But he did it. Max had comfortable lead over PS3, even though he was behind both of McLarens. But the time was less than 10 seconds. So even if Piastri would have a lot of gaps, he would not took the win because Verstappen was very, very close behind them, and even one in time, lapping faster than both of McLarens. He was hot on Lando's ass, and he was sniffing it. So Piastri pitted early. He wasn't risking the used softs. He went immediately to hards, which was the good call. So Piastri then plummeted behind Antonelli and Sainz, or maybe only Sainz. Or maybe even no, he wasn't. He was behind Verstappen, and he was set to charge and get him. He was 18 seconds behind, so he was set to chase him. Lando pitted a lap after, and then the shenanigans happened. What I mean by shenanigans? Well, I mean shenanigans because Lando plummeted behind Antonelli and Sainz. And yes, Carlos Sainz might have another podium on our hands. It was 11 laps to go, and Sainz was in third place. So now it was only if Sainz will hold up. I was stressing the fuck out when I saw Sainz at third. I hope that he was going to win because, well, not win. He was going to go on a podium because I would love to see that. This driver that was sacked by Ferrari, well, not sacked, he was replaced from Ferrari by Lewis Hamilton, which I get. But now he has more podiums than both Ferrari drivers, I guess. So, in this season, by the way. So Oscar was trying to close up Verstappen, and Lando was trying to close up Antonelli and Sainz. The problem was Antonelli's Mercedes was kind of fast. The problem was that they were catching up Sainz because Sainz had a little bit of damage on his floor. So that was a bit of an issue for him. Luckily, it was in no avail because Max Verstappen wins the Qatar Grand Prix and he is now cutting the lead to only 10 points because Lando is gonna finish 5th. Oh no, never mind. Antonelli went wide and he's finished, and he sadly lost the place to Lando Norris. So that means that Max Verstappen now has 12 points lead in championship. I think if I'll look up, but when I'm gonna do that, second was obviously Oscar Piastri, who actually cut the lead for him because he cut the lead on. Sadly, he will cut it on 9 seconds, but still very good, not bad. Yeah, he was shot in the foot there because of McLaren's incredible strategy not pitting. And, well, you can guess who was third because this was a smooth operation by Carlos Sainz. Another podium for the Williams. 2 times podium. That wasn't happening from 2015. As Bottas as Massa did because they were powered by Mercedes. You have no idea how much happy I was to see Sainz again on podium. Lando then finishing 4th, Kimi finishing 5th, George finishing 6th, Alonso 7th, Charlie at least 8th, Lawson 9th, Yuki 10th, getting the final point, sacrificingly because of Isaac Hedger because he had a puncture. He was in P6, by the way. Hedger was comfortable in P6. He was fucking fast at this track. The problem was sadly he wasn't on his side and he got a puncture, which meant that he sadly DNF'd. So Yuki got a final point. Same with the points from sprint, and I forgot to mention that Yuki had a penalty here because the corner cutting. There were a lot of corner cuts. There were a lot of those. Albon was 11th and Hamilton climbed back to 12th. Oh, buddy, how I not wanna see Hamilton struggling this much. Bortolto 13, Colapinto 14th, Ocon 15th, and Gasly 16th. The ones that didn't finish the race was Stroll, Hager, Berman, and Nico Hülkenberg. So if we're gonna look in the standings, Max Verstappen overtook Oscar Piastri. You wouldn't thought this would happen, right? That Oscar Piastri, the winner of Zandvoort and having 100 points advantage over Max, would now be behind him. Max Verstappen has 396 points and Norris has 408 points. Now what we need to see is a Qatar Abu Dhabi 2021. Championship then is kind of closed here. Even Antonelli, by the way, Antonelli is catching Hamilton. 2 points between these two. So watch out. Maybe Antonelli will overtake fucking Hamilton here, which will be crazy. Some battles here in the midfield. Holy mother of God, that's close. Hedger, Hülkenberg and Alonso, 51, 49 and 48 points between these three drivers. Berman 41, Lawson 38, Yuki 33. That's actually very good. Only two drivers without a point is Colapinto and Doohan. So yeah, that was a Qatar Grand Prix reviewed by an absolute moron that has a problem with remembering what was happening, and I'm reading the results. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to remember that. I obviously missed some things, and I apologize for it. But I will see you all next week in another and the final 2025 title championship decider in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for listening and tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Stay sandwiched everyone, and bye bye.